Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for joining us again. Today's video we are talking about saving electricity. Obviously it is January, and if you follow obviously the news and everything else, that we have basically 3 months until our energy price is going to be going up by another 20%. Hopefully obviously you've been able to claim your £66 from your electricity energy company, every month to help you with the cost. We found it really helpful, to be fair, because we have been trying to cut down on our energy usage quite a lot, and that £66 actually made a huge difference, plus our savings that we're trying to do with using less electricity. It's actually helping quite a lot, so hopefully you do that too. This is of course only applicable to UK as far as I'm aware anyway. So, and of course, I know as many of you sort of been panicking and worrying about, of course we all do guys, it's a new year and it's meant to be really the hardest year so far yet, including obviously the prices of food as well as prices of electricity. So I wanted to bring this video. I wanted to do this before, but I haven't really had an opportunity. But guess what guys, today, this morning as you do, you peruse through the news and we found an article about the air fryers and how this is all increased in sales a lot. So I'm going to just refer this to my notes, okay? I've got a few points there and we're going to go to basically just cover the basic, I think 10 or however many items, just to basically explain to you how we can save money. And some of them you already know, save money, save electricity, and some of you already, of course, you know, it's basically a common sense, right? But anyway, so basically the air fryers increased in sales by 400% 2 years running. 400%. This is absolutely incredible. Currys, for all of you who not in UK, Currys is one of the major online and high street retailer. They sell basically consumer, air fryers, kettles, that kind of thing, right? They sell between 18 to 20,000 air fryers a week, and this is really crazy. The demand is clearly there because obviously air fryers do save you a lot of electricity. So for example, the Kasori one runs at about 1700. This bigger one I had this for ages. It's running about 1900 watts per hour. Average ovens that I have, they're running the 3.6 thousand watts an hour. So this is a massive difference in the energy consumption. And for our little family, I had 2 ovens, and generally before I'm like, yeah, let's put this on. I put the Yorkshire pudding in this and I can put this in that, and end up costing you absolute fortune. So now I have to scale this down, just trying to basically save money and save energy, and I'm using the air fryers as what I can. This one's got the drawer, this one's got the little shelf, so they have different uses, but by far it's basically pretty much half of the consumption of a normal oven. And I know many people that are doing the same thing. As clearly as per news, we're all changing to more energy efficient appliances, and this is one of the things, this is one of the first steps we should do if we can afford to, is to change an appliance. Don't worry about the oven. I'm literally, guys, I kid you not, apart from the Christmas dinner, New Year's dinner, I'm using this to store my oven trays. That's all I'm using the oven for, because I'm not spending like £10 to run, you know, to do my Christmas dinner on there like every week or whatever, every Sunday dinner, sorry. So anyway, I'm moving on. So basically, yes, many people are doing this and it's absolutely great way. One of the things makes me laugh, right? When you start reading online, guys, and there's many articles there about telling you, how to save on energy. And you're like, okay, let's have a look. And it's like, buy yourself energy efficient windows. Oh my God, okay. I can't afford my energy bill, or energy is going to be going up by 20%, but I have about 20,000 to spend on my new windows. Yeah, I can see how that works. Or there's some also saying, let's insulate the whole roof. Okay, that's also going to cost thousands. So we're not talking about the stupid things like this. We're talking about little things we can do. As we know, little things make a difference. So a little bit at a time, hopefully we'll be able to save you some money. There's also a thing, apparently, it's a habit, guys, right? It is a human being, and there was a research done online that it takes us about 66 days or 66 times of doing something to be able to get into the habit of doing this without even thinking. So i.e. talking about switching off the lights every time you leave the room. And believe this or not, it actually comes like a common sense. However, quite often, if you go between the floors, you leave the bedroom light open, on, and you go downstairs, you put something in the oven, and it just happens. We just forget. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on. I'm going to refer to my list of things that we're just going to cover, and hopefully going to help you guys to save a little bit on your electricity. So, of course, yes, air fryers was one of the first thing. and any other energy efficient appliances you can potentially replace your normal appliance, it's a win-win situation. I did do a video once before, what I mentioned, I have an electric egg cooker, which can do like hard-boiled eggs or soft-boiled eggs. And I think uses about 400 watts an hour, but you only need sort of 7 to 10 minutes. And it's far better and far cheaper than me running one of my rings on my induction hob, which is 1,000 watts an hour. So there's many things and many options out there for you. Okay, right, the light bulbs, it's been out there, it's a common sense, guys. It's LED light bulbs. Yes, light bulbs, we all have them, right? And you probably already have the LED light bulbs. If you do, then absolutely great. But if you don't, then strongly suggest investing in LED light bulbs. We have changed, like all our house has been changed to LED light bulbs. Some of them are spotlights, but they also have LED light bulbs there. And yes, I totally appreciate it's hard times, and you have to invest in the future, because you buy one of those light bulbs. I think they're like £7-8. It's depending, guys, depending. You can look online and find many different things to fit your needs, but it's kind of investing in the future, because those things will far outlast a normal light bulb, and it will kind of save you money in the long term. And I know many guys in many different forums, people actually using like a garden light. They charge in their little string lights, and then bring them inside to use inside. So if that's what you choose to do, then it's absolutely fine. The option is there. So LED is always better than obviously your normal light bulbs, okay? Next thing is draft proofing your windows and doors. And we had a hell of an issue with our windows. The house has been built about 12 or 15 years ago, and the windows not particularly been fitted that well. So we have a big issue with the draft, especially in a patio door. So in certain areas, we are actually taping up windows. And I mentioned to you before, you can use, guys, right, clear tape, you can use aluminium tape, or you can use a duct tape. Duct tape is proven to be more resilient to a radiation thing. So this is point for the different video. However, guys, you can tape your windows pretty much whatever you want. It's not going to be looking that much attractive, especially if you have the window and you don't have any window dressings on it. However, we are talking about saving money and basically taping up the window. And I swear to God to you guys, this is like a really good point, and it actually does work really, really well. At the same time as well, because I know security and not security, but safety, fire safety, that kind of thing, it pops into mind. And I said to you before, always have an instrument that you can have somewhere near the window. So if you do need to exit and you can't push it because you taped it up, have like a knife or or scissors to be able to just slice the tape around if you need to exit in an emergency. Again, this is my choices and my opinion. If you don't feel safe doing that, then it's fine. One of the next things you can do is basically close your curtains and close your blinds. We also have installed behind our curtains, which is basically a lining for the curtains, but it is a thermal lining. So basically that means it also creates the total blackout for your windows, but it also holds the heat from escaping into the window, and they actually do work really, really well. So I'm moving on then, okay? And again, that makes me laugh, right? There's many comparisons, guys. It's using a shower and not a bath. It's a kind of a common sense, because the more water you use in the bath, the more energy it takes to warm up the water, so you end up costing you more money. Of course, taking shower, it's quicker and it's better and it's cheaper. And there's so many articles I've seen for some money saving experts online. They said, oh my God, if you use a shower and you cut it down, then you can save yourself up to £16 a year. Cutting it down from what exactly? I might like to take my shower for 20 minutes, but I'm cutting it down to what? How many? 4 minutes? That's fine, but cutting down from. So when you read online, don't always feel like, oh my God, I can just save my 16 or £20 a year for cutting down my shower. You need to kind of find and calculate really how much you're going to be saving, because your shower might only be 5 minutes or 6 minutes. You can cut it down to 4 minutes, which will be far less of a saving than if you're comparing it, cutting it down from 10 minutes to 4 minutes. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a relative saving to be had. However, nonetheless, there is saving to be had there. We generally will have one of those. It's a 5-minute little sun clock, okay? You can buy them for shower. They've got little suction cups, so you can have them there. So if you're really, really not able to sort of manage your time in the shower, then this is a good thing to have, so you can keep an eye on it, especially if you've got a few of you in the family. That will save you quite a bit. Okay, so turning appliances off this standby, and yes, there's again, is mentioned constantly everywhere, and it makes you think, oh yeah, you can turn the appliance or turn the TV off to standby. It's a bit of pain in the ear doing this. It only like saves you £3 or £4 a year. We've done a test, guys, and we've turned off the office. We've got third floor office, and we have a lot of obviously printers, computers, that kind of thing. And when we wasn't doing any work, we turned off the whole third floor altogether, and we actually were quite surprised because Daniel's got an app that we can monitor how much energy we're using, and it's actually quite surprising by turning off a couple of things that the consumption actually gone quite right down. So this is something we're now doing as a habit. So anytime there's a weekend or we're not doing any work, as a holiday, we're totally shutting it off the whole floor one at a time and basically saving us electricity and money at the same time. Okay, so next thing is servicing your boiler and make sure that your boiler flow temperature is set at about 60 degrees. Again, I totally understand servicing your boiler is one of the things, and it is an expense. It probably doesn't have as much as effect as to make sure that your boiler temperature is set at the correct temperature. So what that means that the temperature, the 60 degrees, this is the temperature your boiler will push the water through your radiators, or that it would not have any effect on how hot your radiators will get. They'll still get hot, and the temperature of the desired thermostat will reach there. It might just take just that little bit longer to get there. We have an oil boiler, and we've got our the flow temperature thing right in the front. And unfortunately, our toddler kid comes in and playing with the thing all the time. So sometimes when I put the kitchen tap on and I put the hot water, it comes up literally absolutely steaming. But there is a massive difference, and those things do work. So this is something to think about. At the same time as well, guys, I will mention is we're talking about the heating part and the boilers and radiators, is to make sure that you bleed your radiator. You have the little hole, not the hole, little thing in the top where you have a key when you can release the air from radiators, because over the time, as you use your heating, you have a build-up of basically air in your rads. And we had this issue before, so if you have a standard metal radiator that's on the wall, the air goes to the top, so that means there's no water there. So basically it gets warm, but it gets warm only half. So we noticed, like, why is our radiator like cold here but warm there? Because it had a lot of air. So by releasing this air, you make sure that your radiator heats evenly and just distributes the heat better. So because you're already paying to heat them up, make sure they're functioning correctly basically and warm up your room nicely. Okay, so next thing is a mini thing, probably all do this anyway, is washing your clothing at 30 degrees. I wash, to be fair, my clothing pretty much at 30 degrees all the time, unless I have really soiled toddler clothing, or we use bedding or towels. Sometimes we put it for hotter. However, I found that at the moment you can buy, not at the moment, but you can buy a Dettol. It's like a disinfectant liquid for your towels, for your clothing. So you can still drop your temperature to 30 degrees or even 20 degrees in some instances. You add on the disinfectant thing, so it helps that, the musky smell after the towel's been sort of used for a day or so. Sometimes you get that smell. Well, the Dettol liquid seems to kind of help to get rid of the smell. So if you wash the towel on a lower temperature, it kind of kills the bacteria and helps it to stay a bit fresher for a bit longer, which works for me. So I suggest that if you wanted to try it. Next thing is, it's not using temple dry. Again, this is probably, common knowledge, like majority of them are, but I'm just putting it out there in case you might have thought, oh yeah, you didn't think of that. The different temple dryers, the different condensing temple dryers or temple dryers that come up outside into the wilderness, if you speak, with the extractor thing. Ours is a condenser dryer, and it's absolutely awful. It cost us to run it, I think, about 60 or 70p an hour, and you literally can only pull one towel in there for it to dry, and it's going to take like 2 or 3 hours, and it's ridiculous. So as from about a year and a half ago, we totally just stopped using the temple dryer. We used to do socks because you think it's easy, and I can't be bothered going outside or in the radiators hanging the socks one at a time. But do you know what, guys, to be fair, that's making a huge difference to our electricity bill by not using the temple dryer. So it's literally just out of bounds now. It's out of bounds. Where I can, we dry stuff outside. If it's windy, then it's great. We've got a gazebo, so if it kind of looks like it might rain, I put the clothing dryer thing outside, and if it rains or drizzles, at least it's a little bit protected. But anyway, using the temple dryer, guys, is out of the question. They are literally eating your money away. Okay, so I did put it down curtains and blinds, but I have already done that one anyway. A little thing, right? Again, you probably read this, but anyway, the kettles. Kettles actually take when kettle boils, it takes about 3,500 watts to boil a kettle, and it takes for ages, even a rapid boil, if you fill up the kettle to the top. And before, I never used to think of that. I'm not just like, okay, kettle, fill up the kettle, boil the kettle, but technically it's going to take you far more energy to boil your whole kettle than it would be to boil if you only do like 1 cup or 2 cups. So basically, when you do want a cup of tea, if it's only just one of you, then don't fill up the kettle. I'm pretty sure you do this anyway, but I just thought I'd mention it, okay? Other thing I've got there is the microwave meals, okay? It's quite often when you're busy, and I like to cook my food from scratch and fresh, but sometimes we have and use the microwave meals, and half of the time I forget like to plan my day because we have a toddler, we're on business, we're doing videos, and it's just basically sometimes the life just gets on the top of you, and I forget to get the microwave meal out, and it takes a huge amount of energy to say put your microwave meal that is frozen into your microwave than if you to let it to defrost and then microwave it. So if you're taking a fresh or defrosted meal, it might take you 2 to 3 minutes. If it's frozen, it's going to take you 15 minutes. So you can see it's a massive time difference, and of course energy savings to be had if you think in advance and do it. And I know it's hard, trust me, I do this quite often, but then I kick myself because I'm watching my microwave thing going round and round for minutes and minutes, and it's really frustrating. So if you can plan it, get this in like at the morning of the day you're going to have it, or the night before, and it hopefully basically saves you some time and money at the same time. So another thing, guys, I wanted to say, I've covered pretty much everything, but if you follow the channel, you know, guys, I did tell you that we have pretty much changed the house to like a smart house, and I know maybe it's not for everyone, but we're talking about the thermostats, okay? This is the old-fashioned Drayton thermostats. This is what we had when we moved into the house, and you basically have your temperature thing from 10 to 30, and you normally have 1 per house, or maybe 2 depending how many floors you have in a house, and it basically you set it up to say if you want the temperature of the house to be 20, and then the boiler basically kicks in as and when to maintain that temperature. Well, I'm sure you know how it works because we all have it. Pretty much, I think everybody has it, unless you've got some sort of different heating things anyway. And we have invested into, we've done this on 2 floors so far, so we've got 1 more to go, is those smart, hold on, I should have got this out, sorry guys. They're the smart thermostats. And I know you can buy the Hives, there's many other different ones, systems that connect to your boiler, and then you can control online, but they cost like, by the time you bought certain plugs, certain things, it costs like thousands. So this is kind of a cheap alternative. It basically goes in place of those kind of things. You program it in, you wire it in, and you can basically control this with your either Alexa or with Google, and you have an app. And the beauty of this thing, firstly, it displays in temperature and it tells you when it comes on. You've got programmable settings to be set it for like 7 days a week, and you have multiples of times. So you can basically set it for if you know you're at work or you're going away, you can program the times, you can program anything that you want. And the thing is, because you have an app, you can control it with an app if you're away from the house. So if you suddenly say you're meant to be coming from home and you wanted to warm up the house before you get home from work, and you're suddenly delayed because you're stuck in traffic for like 3 hours, 4 hours, for example, you can go online on your app and you can change that, and you can turn the heating off or delay it coming on until later. And the beauty, again, because it's connected to your Alexa or to Google, you can control this via voice. So many times, if you go to sleep and suddenly it's a bit hot because the heating came on and you feel a bit like a bit too warm today, all you gotta do is to ask Alexa to turn the heating down, and automatically she'll connect this, turn it down. You can control this by voice in terms of temperature, so you can say please set the temperature to like 15 degrees, and she'll drop it down, and that means they won't come on until it hits below 15. So I strongly suggest, guys, and they are literally about £30, so it's like, it's an investment, but you only need 1 per floor. We have this one on each flooring. And it's kind of a cheap alternative to a really expensive options that are out there, and we absolutely love it. It's a great investment, and it makes it easy, and you just control it, and we just love it anyway. So here we are. So hopefully, guys, I've covered the majority of the things. I'm sure there are so many other tips that you guys would like to share. So please, as a community, if you know any of the other methods to be able to save electricity, energy, please comment below. I'm sure many of us would love to read them and learn something from each other. And anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget thumbs up, and I will see you very soon on the next video. Bye bye.